Kia ora level 2 physics people. We are going to be tackling a little past exam question, 2022 from the mechanics paper. And it says right here, a block is attached to two identical springs hung from the ceiling. The first question is asking us, on the diagram, add labelled arrows to show all the forces acting on the block. Let me just highlight the important thing that it's asking us to do. It's asking us to add labelled arrows. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, the block, it's attached to these two springs, okay? And so the forces acting on this block must be along those springs in an upward direction. So I'm going to add the first force vector, and I have to show the direction that force is pulling the block at, and it's along that spring. Let's label it like the question has asked us to and continue on to the second force vector, which is acting along the other spring, and I'll label that F2. Another force that is acting on this block is a downwards force. And what is that downwards force called? It's gravity. So let's label that Fg. Now that question right there is worth an achieved. Pretty simple. But let's move on to the other one and see how we go. Let's grab my highlighter, draw a labelled vector diagram to show how the three forces acting on the block add together. Okay, the key here is to remember that when you're adding forces or vectors together, you always have to add them head to tail, okay? And let me show you what I mean by that. So let's start off with the force of gravity, and that's acting downwards. I'm literally just displacing the vectors I've drawn on the diagram to form a vector triangle, okay? So I've got the force of gravity, Fg, label, 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 and then I'm going to add F1 to this force of gravity by adding it head to tail. And I'll label that as I go, F1, and we're finally left with F2. I'm literally just going to take that F2, not change the angle or the lean of it, and add its tail to the head of my F1, which was the previous vector that I just drew. And I'll label it F2. Do not forget to label it if the question's asked you to. And this is how it's done. And you might be wondering what that's worth, and that, everyone, is worth a merit if you got those two parts correct. But there we have it.